All right, these are the guys who make it happen here at Rage Films. We're at Velvet in Bend, Oregon, prior to Pretty Good, and this is Hennie and AJ, and we talked to the athletes, but they would be nothing without the filmers. You guys must kind of pull your hair out once in a while dealing with those guys, huh?
You get in a couple little stories here and there, you know, but at the end of it, it's kind of up to them to give you the shot in the end, you know, so you kind of have to let them have a little bit of pull away here and there, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes they hit the trick and you miss the shot. Sometimes you get the shot and they miss the trick. Which happens more often?
Usually we'd never miss the shot. Never happens, but it works out really good usually, and they work their ass off, so it ends up them getting the shot at the end.
How long you guys been with Rage Films?
I'm the rookie this year. It's my first year with them, you know.
Coming from where?
Currently I live in Utah, Salt Lake City. Just hanging out there these days, enjoying the Utah lightest snow on earth, you know.
And sorry about that. And oh, that's great. Utah, obviously, very dry snow. Now, AJ, you've been here in Bend for a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, I'm originally from Eugene, Oregon, in the Valley, and I've lived here on and off for the last 4 or 5 years. And this is my second year working for Rage, but I've kind of interned with them since Budacrunk a long time ago. So
let's get into that. Obviously, Rage Films have been making movies for a very long time. This is, what, the 11th, 12th? What's going on?
I think it's number 8.
Yeah. Let me go to the veteran. How many films has Rage Films been putting out over the last few years?
Well, this is the 8th coming out this year. Hopefully 9 next year and get to 10, but we'll see.
And what happens over the course of time? I mean, from when, you know, so that puts us at 2000 or 1999. What's changed in the last 8, 9, 10 years of ski filmmaking in your mind?
Well, it's just the technology and everything with cameras and, like, taking different people's ideas and just using it, and just keeps increasing the better quality of films, and I don't know, and then just coming up with crazy ideas that sometimes work and sometimes they don't, but in the end you learn something, and every time you just try to take it a little farther.
And with this being your first year with Rage Films, you know, what have you learned? What are you psyched about going into next year?
Pretty much traveling around, talking with the athletes, hanging out with the athletes, like, and even though that's at the spring shoots, I got to put in, or all of us actually got to put in a whole lot of work, and that's where we truly realize like how much work goes into each shot. So I think just taking that lesson to next year and applying it, you know, getting there, working out, getting the thing done at the end of the day.
So shooting ski films is one side of it, but then editing is another. When you're shooting, how much are you thinking about the editing process?
Well, when you shoot, you want to shoot like the most crisp, like kind of just normal, balanced type of shot. So when you go into editing, you can start playing around with it and kind of get a good feel for everyone's segment and make it flow. So you definitely take a little bit, but you don't want to get too crazy on your shots.
Do you ever get pissed at somebody who's editing? You shot it. Somebody wants to edit it differently than you envisioned?
No, not really. It's like the person in front of the computer's like monitor thing. They have like a idea that they want to portray, and like whatever. There's two sides of it, like the footage you shoot and then the way you make it. And both of those are a pretty cool thing to like put your own little style voice into, and then whatever they decide how to put their spin on it, that's cool with them, man.
Well, it's obviously a really fun industry, but I think it's pretty high pressure. So what I want to hear from both of you guys is, what's the one thing from this last season that you got super fired up about? You don't care about it now, but at the time it was big deal.
I'd have to say just going to cities that you've never been, trying to find urban rails, and it's always kind of exciting because it's usually early season and you've been away from snow, and you finally get to starting filming and you start finding rails, and it's really awesome when that comes together really well.
So what do you remember from this year that, you know, is not a big deal now, but at the time you were fired up about?
I'd say it's probably my first day of shooting with Jamie Pierre. He's all-time classic for me. First day shooting with him, I screwed up a shot, and I was like, that night I was just sitting at my home, I was like, oh, do I really have to make this call? I called him up, like, I made a boo-boo pretty much, you know. And but that kind of made it up for the next day. We went out, got some retribution on it, and then so like my worst time translated into like one of the better days of my season for sure.
Right on. Jamie Pierre definitely hugs some big cliffs, doesn't he?
He sure does. That's a fact.
Well, he thinks he's got God on his side, and that's all he needs. All right, thanks a lot. We got AJ, we got Hennie, and we are good. We're going to go to see Pretty Good here in a minute here in Bend, Oregon. Thanks from Velvet. Roll 35. Back at you in a minute.